Wait. If I'm gonna do a Halloween episode, I think I should probably be in costume.
That's more like it.
Hello all and welcome back. My name is Casey and today we're going to talk about Halloween. Is Halloween a pagan holiday? Are you in some kind of spiritual danger if you wear a costume, carve a pumpkin, and let your kiddos go trick-or-treating? Or maybe Halloween is just an invention of the candy companies. It's certainly possible. But first, we have to talk about All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day is celebrated on November 1st, and here in the US it is a holy day of obligation. The feast was formally started in 609 by Pope Benedict XIV and was possibly celebrated even earlier. He originally had the feast celebrated in May, and it was moved to November 1st about 100 years later by Gregory III. I couldn't find an official record of his reason for doing this, but some have suggested that it makes more sense to celebrate the dead in the fall when, this year is winding down and nature itself is dying, than in the spring, which is a time typically associated with vitality and rebirth. As the name suggests, All Saints' Day is a celebration of all the saints. Each country has their own customs and traditions for celebrating All Saints, but typically there is at least a mass and prayers for the intercession of the saints said on that day. So where does Halloween come from? Halloween is the day before All Saints' Day. The word Eve literally just means the day before. The word Halloween is basically a contraction of All Hallows Eve, meaning the day before All Hallows Day or the day before All Saints' Day. Some people are worried that because Halloween falls on the same day as the Celtic pagan holiday Samhain, that Halloween is really just a pagan holiday hiding behind campy witch costumes and mountains of candy. Is this fear justified? Are you participating in paganism if you celebrate Halloween? The short answer is no, and here's why. Some elements of Halloween are kind of rooted in pagan culture. The practice of going house to house asking for treats sort of comes out of Samhain. Also, people thought that on Samhain, the fairies and the spirits of the dead could more easily cross over to Earth from the other world or the spirit world. So wearing scary costumes and carving jack-o'-lanterns was a way to scare them off and keep evil spirits away. The thing is with a lot of these traditions is they didn't all start in one place, and the traditions that we have today are not exactly direct descendants of the original Samhain traditions. The practice of wearing costumes, for example, also started in France, completely independent of Samhain, during the Middle Ages in response to the Black Death. The dance macabre is an allegory for the inescapability of death that became popular in Western Europe during the time when the Black Death was, killing a lot of people. Common artistic depictions of the dance at the time would show folks from all walks of life, kings and peasants and merchants and monks, all descending into the grave together, demonstrating that no matter how powerful or rich you may be, death gets us all in the end. Sometimes on All Souls' Day, which is the day after All Saints' Day, there would be live reenactments of the dance macabre as a kind of memento mori morality play. Trick-or-treating also isn't something that just came out of Samhain. Trick-or-treating partially evolved out of the tradition of souling. This was where poor people would go around in costume and beg for soul cakes. When they received these sweet cakes from people, they would pray for their deceased family members. And this was actually seen in the form of almsgiving because it helped feed the poor. Trick-or-treating also owes part of its origin to Guy Fawkes Day, an English holiday celebrated on November 5th, which commemorates the time when Catholic freedom fighter Guy Fawkes tried and failed to blow up Parliament. It was common for people to celebrate his failure by burning his effigy, wearing Guy Fawkes masks, and harassing local Catholic families by waking them up in the middle of the night demanding beer and cake so they could party. This tradition eventually came to America, but by that time the enthusiasm for defiling the memory of Guy Fawkes had sort of fizzled out, so they rolled the tradition of trick-or-treating into the growing list of traditions that make up American Halloween celebrations. A lot of the other Halloween aesthetics that we have today mostly come from greeting card companies and corporatization of the holiday, trying to make Halloween more spooky and ghoulish, witches, for example, weren't really associated with Halloween until relatively recently. Halloween mostly gets a bad rap due to three things: slasher films, for obvious reasons, historians and folklorists who didn't fact-check, and modern neo-pagans. Specifically, folklorists in the 1800s didn't do their homework and mistakenly labeled Halloween as a Druidic holiday, causing modern neo-pagans to push the false narrative that Halloween is originally their holiday and that Christians stole it or something. All in all, if you celebrate Halloween, you're not celebrating Samhain, you're not accidentally worshipping a pagan god. This holiday is in fact very rooted in Christian tradition, so you're totally fine if you want to dress up as Superman and go door to door asking for Snickers bars. As always, there are resources in the description box below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. That's all I have for this episode. Have a safe and spooky Halloween, and God bless you.